my YouTube viewers. I'm back at you again, Brother Naph, with some different knowledge. This time, my topic is going to be on food, the feminization of men, and the homostasis of women. Now, it's a broad topic, and we're going to talk about some stuff, what's going on in the world today in regards to food. Now, I was in the military for a period of time, over probably 18 years. And the most important thing I learned in the military, among other things, were fitness. The best school I went to in the military was Master Fitness Trainer. And I graduated as Master Fitness Trainer. And I was a drill instructor. And thereby, I trained soldiers from zero fitness level to optimum fitness level to be ready to graduate within a short period of time to become from civilian to fit soldiers. Why am I telling you this? Because now I'm going to tell you about some of the stuff that I learned. And basically it's about food, energy, and your body. Now, if you look in life today, they tell you we have a food shortage. Is that really true? No, it's not. What they're doing, they're poisoning the food. They're dumbing down the food. And they're feeding us. And it's changing our physiology, both in the men and the female. How? How so? Why do I say this? Imagine the food that we're eating as men now is having too much estrogen, both in the male and the female. So when you increase estrogen in the male, you feminize the male, because now its muscular structure become such as getting out of shape, feminine tendency, voice patterns change, etc. When it goes into the female, their whole physiology is changed. Now they start having longer periods, more pain while they're having a period, increased level of fibroids, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and such. Because the food that we are eating today is not real. You got to understand, you have to eat real food. When I mean real food, I mean food that comes from the ground, not processed. Now, I don't want to go off tangent. I just want to let you know, when you're talking about your body structure, there's three things you got to remember: chemical, structure, and emotional. And the food that we eat either build it up or breaks it down, prevents certain stuff in your system to work the way it's supposed to work, or increase your energy level or the nutrients and mineral that goes in your body to help you optimum, give you more oxygen so oxygen can flow to your body so your body can move the right way. Now, let's talk about the food. What type of food are we eating? Ask yourself that. We go around today, we eat a lot of fast food. We eat a lot of sugar. We eat a lot of processed food. And we eat a lot of GMO. I'm going to talk about those four product systems today. And all those four food groups mess with the body system. It messes with your chemical, the structure, and your emotional function of the body. And we're going to talk about some other terms about food. We talk about metabolism. We're talking about the BMR. We're going to talk about the BMI. We're going to talk about sugar level, type of sugar. I will talk about the enzyme that break down. And the most important thing I want to hit to you, the cortisol level in our body. Because if you look around today, look at how our females and our males is becoming. You have the more obese and fat people more now. And guess what? Mostly the women, they're getting fatter and fatter every day. And they think they're looking good, or quote unquote, the big bone syndrome. Ain't no such thing as big bone. So we're going to investigate how the food is poisoning our body. Now, I love food. I love to eat good food. I'm a Jamaican and I eat some good food. Even though most Jamaicans think they're eating healthy, but sometimes they're not. But majority do eat healthy because we have real food in Jamaica. And I mean real food. But it's getting down to the point now where we are going towards the Western side of eating, And all the food that they're importing in Jamaica now is dumbing down Jamaicans. Yes, messing up their body, bringing out all different type of body shapes, feminizing the man, and what I call carcinogenization of the woman, meaning fibroids, high periods, and so forth. So when I come back, I'm going to talk about those, and hopefully you get some kind of education or you learn something on the way of learning something. So I'll be back with you in a few minutes.
Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all thy getting, get understanding. If you enjoy Naph's Blind Wisdom and you'd like to obtain more wisdom with Naph, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever a new video has been posted.
So I'm back. Now let's get to the crust of things. Talk about food. What is food? Food is a process of metabolizing the chemical, the structural, and emotional process of the body. What I mean? What does that mean? That means that the food that you eat increases the chemical buildup in your body, such as mineral, vitamins, and other minerals that goes through the cell, produce new cells, and energize the body, build up the structure of the body, your skeletal body, like the muscles. The structure part of food is what make your body metabolize, or we go to anabolic process, which means building of protein blocks, fatty and sugar level in the body. And then emotional process is that secrete that enzyme that control your emotional process. You're feeling lethargic, you're feeling bad, or you're feeling good, or you're feeling elated, excited, or energetic. Those are the three things that food does to the body. Now, we have to put real food in the body for those processes to operate properly. Now, earlier I speak about how they're dumbing down food. Now, our food is having different type of elements now that breaks down the body, both in the male and the female. What type of food? We got sugar, we got GMO, we got high estrogen level food, and we got processed food. All those food that goes in the body break down the system, the metabolic system of the body, and it changes the body metabolic rate. And by changing your body metabolic rate and breaking down the body, your BMI changes. Your BMI, your basic metabolic index, right? Muscular index. That's how the body's going to shape. That's what it is. So the food have a control of that. The type of food you eat with food and exercise, that's what incorporates the full fitness of the body. But we're going to talk about exercise at the bottom of this product. But let's talk about food. They tell you that food is short. Food is not short. You could go there and plant your own food and get the proper stuff. Organic, you plant. But how are they dumbing down the food? Chemicals. And I'm talking about the chemical that they use to process the food. What they do to the food that changes the metabolic product of the food. The breakdown of the food is changed. The way the food is tasted, what the food does to your body. You have to start putting in your brain that how you eat is going to affect the totality of your body, from your head to your toe, even from your emotions to your brain, the blood flow, and such. Now, the food that they're doing today, as I said before, is feminizing the man. How is it feminizing the man? Because the food you eat is giving you too much estrogen. Men have a level of what we call testosterone. That's what makes us men. That's what gives us the strength. That's what gives us the focus. Testosterone in the male. But the food that we're eating are breaking down the testosterone and injecting more estrogen in our body, thereby making our voice pattern change, our muscular structure change, because they see your muscles getting hard, go to what we call hypertrophy. Now you're going to atrophy, making your muscles soft and fluffy, like a female. It's poison. What are the estrogen level of food? Soy, processed food, milk, a lot of estrogen. Let's take milk for example. Milk comes from a cow. When cow produce milk? When they're in a pregnant state. And the milk from a cow is there for a cow from birth to 1,500 pounds within 6 months. So if it could give a cow or a calf 1,500 to 600 pounds in 6 months, what does it do for the human body? And they go around talking, got milk. Milk is too much estrogen because the blood from the cow goes into the milk. All of those, what you call enzyme, the hormones from the cow goes into the milk, even though they talk about pasteurizer and homogenizer and stuff like that. It still contains estrogen, which goes into the male and the female and affect the physiology of the body. GMO, genetically mutated organism. That's what it is. They take the food, it didn't grow in the ground. That's where you get seedless watermelon, seedless grape. I have those big bananas that's big like my forearm. My forearm is, you got bananas big like my forearm. The skin is yellow, but inside still tastes green. Eating fruits out of season. Eating fruits out of season are GMO foods. The fruits are made to go and eat season that you get proper mineral and vitamins from it. But when you start eating these food without seed, those are what? GMO food, and those goes inside your body and produce chemical that breaks down your normal chemical level, break down your structure, and give you emotional problems. So we have to watch the type of food we eat. Potato chips, all those processed food, processed meat. Now we know that the food increases our energy and metabolizes our body the right way. And our BMR, which is our basic metabolic rate. How does the food work on us? And what type of food? GMO food, which is genetic modified organism food. What are those? Those are your seedless grapes, your seedless watermelon, your seedless orange, your muscular looking bananas, and your fruits out of your season. And sometimes the meat that you eat, how they feed the animals that you eat from, what they feed the animal. A lot of estrogen going to the animal, which goes into men. Now, earlier I said the feminization of men. When the man has too much estrogen in his body, it breaks down the testosterone level, thereby make him act with more female tendencies. You need testosterone, and every year that you get older, from the age of 35, and every year after 35, you lose at least about 1% to 2% of testosterone level, which breaks down the muscles in the man. So if you keep feeding estrogen and replacing testosterone, thereby you're feminizing the male. Now, I said earlier about homeostasis of woman. How does that work? The woman is already have estrogen. So if you increase her estrogen level, it is going to break down the balance of her hormones. So she become more imbalanced. Longer periods with a lot of pain, fibroids, ovarian cancer, breast cancer. And the breast cancer metastasize so much nowadays that women have to have cut off their breasts. And food is what actually contributes to all of that. The food that we eat. Now, what's the food level? The dangerous food that we eat are GMO food, processed food, the fried food, or a Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know what kind of oil they use to fry Kentucky Fried Chicken? And the vegetable oil, the canola oil, all those grain oils, they're not good for you. They increase estrogen, soy increase estrogen, and the grain oil, because they process the grain oil, which is corn, canola, and all those grains. How they process the oil and vegetable oil, they burn it to a high heat, and because the heat is so high, it produces a form of chemical that get into the oil. So you think it's good for you and it's healthy. It's not. It is not. It almost tastes the what body, meaning bringing the imbalance in the body we need. And sometimes it don't even taste good. And then you have the GMO food. Now let's talk about sugar. 3 levels of sugar, actually 4, but we're going to speak about 3. You got sucrose, fructose, and lactose. Now, glucose is what you get from carbohydrates, the food that you eat. When you eat that food, your body converted to sugar, which is glucose. Then fructose is what you get from fruits, And your sucrose is what you get from your table sugar. Now, what's the difference between those three? Your glucose is about 100% from the glycemic index, and your fructose is 25 from the glycemic index, and sucrose is 60. Now, let me give you the process of the sugar. When you eat glucose, which is carbohydrates, it goes straight to the bloodstream. When you eat fructose, it goes straight to the liver, processed through the liver. And then your sugar affects your insulin level. So those three things, glucose is good for you because it's naturally processed through the body. So if you continue eating carbohydrates a lot, and then you add your sugar, your table sugar, what you're doing, you increase the level of sugar that goes through the bloodstream, thereby elevating your insulin level. And then when your insulin level go now, what happened? It comes straight out of the bloodstream, and then the cells take that sugar from the bloodstream, become glucose to go in the cell, and then you get visceral fat. And the visceral fat goes around what? Your tummy and your sides, right? And the visceral fat is formulated from the insulin, which increase your cortisol level, and your cortisol levels go straight to your cell, which is a storage process, and then you start storing fat. Now, they tell you about fat-free food. What they put in fat-free food? The fructose. So the fructose is more dangerous than the glucose, because the glucose is naturally because it's going to the bloodstream. The fructose goes to the liver. That's where you get stuff like non-alcohol fatty liver disease. And that's what kids are having today, because they're eating so much sugar, their liver is totally messed up. Yes, you can eat fruit, but you eat fruit at a different level. And then you're going to add table sugar to it. Table sugar totally messed up your insulin process. And your insulin process determine how many fat your body contains. Because the more sugar you put into your system, the insulin level get higher, and then it transposes from the bloodstream into the cell. And again, I said the cell store it, and it becomes lipids, which become fat. Your insulin level control how much sugar goes into the bloodstream, and if it spike your insulin or lower your insulin level. And now, when your insulin level goes high, it convert what we call cortisol. Now, the cortisol level comes from a stress factor. We call it stress fat, right? Now, stress fat is the fat from the cortisol. When your cortisol level go higher, you tend to maintain or store fat more, and then that fat spread out to the cells and surrounds the cell and causing the body to puff out, which gives you that big stomach and that's love hangers. So you have to know how to control your cortisol level through the insulin, because every time we eat food, the moment the food touches your tongue, your insulin start reacting. It's either spike or it goes down, depending on the type of food you eat. And as we know, carbohydrates convert to glucose, which is sugar, but a different healthy type of sugar. But too much of that is still no good. And then the fructose that we eat get from fruit, honey, those fake fruits, those fake sugars that they give you, that goes directly to the liver. It processes to the liver, which makes it more dangerous, because it's naturally for the sugar to go through the bloodstream. But when it goes through the liver and processed through the liver, it causes the liver to be more fatty. And remember, I said earlier about the non-alcohol fatty liver disease. Fructose causes that, and table sugar. Table sugar spikes your insulin level. And when your insulin level spikes, that means too much sugar is into the bloodstream. And when too much sugar goes to the bloodstream, it releases and goes to the cell, and the cell convert that sugar into fat, and then that fat got stored. So it's important to say that when you eat, you got to be careful. Now, people have this myth about fat, that fat's not good for the body. Actually, essential fat is better than carbohydrates. Carbohydrates fuel the body, yes, but the fat fuel the body more than the carbohydrates, because the fat does not turn into sugar, but the carbohydrate does. I don't want to go through the long explanation of big fat and stuff. But fat is good, but too much is not good because it clogs the arteries and stuff like that. But you have good fat. Now, how do you combat all these things? Exercise and a lifestyle. Now, when you exercise, you got to know how to incorporate your exercise. Okay? You have to call anaerobic exercise with aerobic exercise. Aerobic means more air flow, more oxygen. You're using more oxygen when you're doing aerobic exercise. Anaerobic exercise is anabolic. That means you're using more muscular strength. So how do you frame the body, the BMI, the basic muscle index? How you frame that? Through strength training. Now you got to know how to do your strength training. You work big muscle to small muscles. And obviously you eat the right type of food. 80%, you want to go to 20% carbohydrates and 80% protein. Because carbohydrates convert to glucose, everything that we eat. So if you have a 80% carbohydrate diet and a 20% protein diet, obviously you get more, sugar to the body. And we know what sugar does. It spikes the insulin level. And when the insulin level is spiked, it increases your cortisol level, which stores fat. Teach your muscles to store fat. And now, how you eat in time is good. You got to time the time you eat your food. I like to do stuff like intermittent fasting. That's good for you because the more you eat, is the more your insulin level gonna work. Either spike or get lower. Because remember I said, as the food touch your mouth, the insulin process start going. Now, exercise is good for you. Anaerobic exercise means strength training. You got to put resistance to the muscle because that's what's going to build the muscular system, the structural system. Remember I told you chemical, structural, and emotional. And when you exercise, it increase a hormone enzyme that elevates your energy level. And when your energy level elevated, you're going to be more lively and less depressed. And stress give you more fat to the body because instead of concentrating on the inner part of the body, stress concentrate on the outer part of the body, which become emotional, and then you start focusing on the outside instead of the inside. So you sit down and you mope, thinking about what's happening on the outside, and then your brain send message to your body don't work right. It changes the physiology process of your body when you stress. So that's where cortisol comes in. When you stressed out most, cortisol is increased, lipids turn into fat, store overnight, then you start getting this newfound body, what we call out of shape. And it's not healthy for you to walk around with so much weight on your body because it makes your body work harder and your heart work harder. The more you weigh, is the harder your heart work and the more fat around your liver. And we're talking about liver that processes the blood. Everything goes through the liver except glucose. So as I said, you have to go through the anaerobic and the aerobic exercise, and you got to know how to incorporate those so you have the maximum effect from the exercise. And as I said, food process the body in a funny way, chemical, structural, and emotional. Type of food you eat and how the food is processed through the body affects you. Now, 4 ways it affects you: toxic, depletion, stress, and deficiency, which I call the STD2. That's my formula for it: stress, toxic, deficiency, and depletion. So when you eat the food in your body, it either have too much toxic in there that affects the body at a chemical process, break down the minerals and the vitamins. And then the deficiency, because the food is not good and the elements in the food is not appropriate for your body, either less or too much or not natural, it gives your body that deficiency, either less insulin or less enzyme that goes to the body that control the cellular process of the body. And then Obviously, you're stressed, and when you're stressed, it's the outside environment, and then the inside of the body is not working right. Therefore, produce more cortisol, therefore produce more fat, and you store fat. And then the last D, which is depletion. It depletes your energy, depletes the hormones, it changes the hormone in the body, and thereby changing the physiology of the body. And then next thing you know, you have a lot of medical problems, a longer period, as I said before, 14 days period, 9 days period. In the olden days, women usually like 3 to 4 days period. Now they having these long periods, are having period twice in the same month, and a lot of cramps. So those 4 things: toxic, deficiency, stress, and depletion. The type of food that we eat today, that's what it does to the body if it's not good food, natural food. So, in essence and in short, eat real food. Eat real food. I hope you like my content, and see you next time. Thank you for your time. See you on the flip side. Brother Naph is out. Take care.
If you enjoy Naph's Blind Wisdom and you'd like to obtain more wisdom with Naph, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever a new video has been